Hello you and welcome to this video. You're probably here because you're also wanting to know what happens after filing Form I-129F, whether you're still gonna file, you're about to file, or you already filed and is wondering about the steps after filing Form I-129F. So, filing Form I-129F or Petition for Alien Fiancé is the first step in obtaining a K-1 visa for a fiancé. A U.S. citizen files the petition to establish a qualifying relationship with a foreign national beneficiary, but there are additional steps. Understandably, you both want to know how long it takes throughout the K-1 visa processing timeline and what happens in the different steps. Although the steps that take place are fairly consistent, the K-1 visa processing time will vary based on the USCIS caseload, U.S. Embassy in the beneficiary's country, and of course, your ability to properly file an accurately prepared I-129F petition. The following outline describes the basic steps of the K-1 visa timeline for most people. First would be the receipt of petition. Second, adjudication of petition. Third is the case moving to NVC or the National Visa Center. Number 4 is receiving the embassy letter. And number 5 is the K-1 visa interview itself. And lastly, the moment you enter the United States. At the end of this presentation, we are also going to have a brief summary. All right, so let's start with the receipt of the petition. If you properly file Form I-129F or the petition for alien fiancé, USCIS will initially respond by mailing you a receipt notice that confirms receipt of your petition. This is formally known as Form I-79C or Notice of Action. This is the example that we have on the screen. The receipt notice typically arrives 2 to 3 weeks after filing. If you did not properly file your Form I-129F, USCIS will send a notice of action to reject the petition or may send an RFE or a request for evidence that requests additional items. Either will significantly delay your request. Thus, it is vital to prepare the I-129F correctly and submit all required supporting documents. Just a simple tip, save this important letter because it contains your 10-digit receipt number and you can use this receipt number to check your case status online. If you didn't receive a notice of action, you may, of course, make contact with them and make a case query. After receiving NOA1 or the receipt of the petition, it now proceeds to the next process, which is adjudication of petition. At this point in the process, USCIS does not conduct an interview. The purpose of I-129F is to establish a qualifying relationship between the U.S. citizen and the beneficiary. Additionally, USCIS wants to pre-screen the petitioner for any criminal background or issues that would create a conflict related to the International Marriage Broker Regulation Act. And upon approval, USCIS will mail the U.S. citizen petitioner another I-797, which is the Notice of Action or the Approval Notice. So this is our NOA2. After receiving the Notice of Approval, the case then moves to the National Visa Center. It will transition the case to the U.S. Department of State, specifically the USCIS Service Center forwards the case to the National Visa Center or NVC. MVC may contact the beneficiary for further processing requirements like submitting the visa application or the DS-160 and payment of consular fees. Upon completion, The NVC coordinates with the U.S. Embassy or consulate, typically in the foreign national's country. There's actually not much you can do at this point, and if you want to verify that the NVC has received your file, you may contact them or email them at nvcinquiry@state.gov approximately 2 weeks after receiving the I-129F approval notice. After that, you will then receive the embassy letter. Once the embassy has reviewed the case, they will send a letter to the foreign fiancé or the beneficiary with instructions for scheduling the medical exam and interview. The letter will also provide a list of items that must be submitted and explain which items must be submitted immediately and which items should be brought to the K1 visa interview. The approved I-129F petition for alien fiancé is valid for 4 months. Generally, failing to respond will force the embassy to presume you've abandoned the petition. However, consular officers may revalidate the I-129F petition in 4-month increments at their discretion. For most cases impacted by the suspension of routine visa services or COVID-19 travel restrictions, it will not be necessary to file a new I-129F petition. Fifth step in the process would be the actual K1 visa interview. The foreign fiancé beneficiary attends the K1 interview at the designated U.S. Embassy or consulate. If children will join as K2 visa holders, they must also attend the interview. The U.S. citizen petitioner is never required to attend the interview, but is generally encouraged where allowed. Embassies in some countries do not allow the U.S. citizen to attend. And the beneficiary must take documents to the visa interview, including proof of the relationship and proof of medical examination. While you shouldn't fear the interview, you should prepare. Know what to expect and try answering some practice questions. The beneficiary will generally have a decision by the end of the interview. Typically, the embassy or consulate will issue the visa within a couple of weeks. Now, lastly, for this visa application is for the beneficiary or the fiancé to enter the United States. Once the Department of State issues K1 visa, the beneficiary generally has a period of 6 months to enter the United States. The beneficiary will be provided with a visa packet to present at the port of entry. Upon entry, the couple must marry within 90 days. If the couple does not marry, the K1 visa holder must depart the U.S. before the 90-day expiration of the visa. To summarize this K1 visa processing time, after filing Form 129F, petition for alien fiancé, it may take approximately 8 to 11 months to obtain a K1 visa. It may be shorter for some and longer for others. As explained, the K1 processing time can vary based on the agencies that adjudicate the many steps. A poorly prepared I-129F petition will certainly increase this timeline as well. Errors, omissions, and insufficient evidence can result in major delays and even denials. So don't forget, you can also check your case status online with your receipt numbers. The USCIS website also lists normal processing times for an I-129F petition. If you believe that your case is outside the normal I-129F processing time, you can make a case inquiry. After marriage, there are several additional steps that must be taken so that the foreign spouse can remain in the United States, travel, and accept employment. These are not included in the above K1 visa processing timeline. For a more detailed look, please look into details on how to adjust status to permanent resident or the green card holder as soon as possible. Well, this process includes submitting Form I-485 or the application to adjust status, among other forms. The additional forms include Form I-765 or application for employment authorization and Form I-131 or the application for travel document if the applicant wants to work and travel during the year-long adjustment of status process. So, with this presentation, I hope that you are able to have a bird's eye view of the processing timeline of the K1 visa this 2022. Thank you so much for watching this presentation. I hope it was helpful to you, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you, and good luck to everyone.